Hello and welcome to Baffling Cyclops. I'm David.
I'm Pepper Proxy.
And we are here to have another public discussion.
Yay!
Instead of a private discussion.
We have those often.
We do. Did you have a topic this week that you would like to discuss?
I'm just gonna riff.
You're gonna riff? You're gonna riff?
Is that a real word?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. We got miniature versions of one of my action figures. I have very few action figures, but I do have a Nosferatu action figure.
Those miniature versions are so cute.
Yeah, because Nosferatu is holding an action figure of himself.
I thought his name was
Glosferatu.
Glosferatu.
Well, we've definitely talked about Glosferatu, but he now has a little tiny glow-in-the-dark buddy.
It's really cute.
That sits on his lap. And I learned a little bit about Nosferatu this week.
Oh, what'd you learn?
Well, originally everyone said Nosferatu was just a copyright ripoff of Dracula because they copied the plot of Dracula when they made the movie. But in researching it, after reading some stuff on Twitter, it turns out that this organization, this magic organization in Germany, Fraternus Saturni,
Wow, that's a mouthful.
They gathered together all their money and they were going to make 4 movies to spread their magic beliefs.
What year was this?
In the 1920s. I can't remember exactly which year.
Germany in the 1920s.
Yeah, and they were going to spread their beliefs about magic using film. And the first one they did was Nosferatu. And they came up with this character, Nosferatu, and the way it looks. One of the main people in the magic organization came up with the look and design for it. And I found out that it was what they call an egregore.
Because its head is the shape of an egg?
No, an egregore is actually when a group of people get together, it's the creature that represents their group thought.
Okay, so is this a German? This must be a German word then.
I'm not sure if it's a German word or not. I learned it. I haven't looked to see what it was.
I was just thinking it would be German because it was the German organization.
Yeah, but magic organizations, I guess, have an egregore,
like the collective mind, like the hive.
But it's personified or monsternified in one creature, and theirs looked like Nosferatu, or as he's also known in the movie, Count Orlok.
I like that name, Orlok.
You like Count Orlok?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, if we get another pug, can we name it Count Orlok?
Either Count Orlok or Quick Pickle. So I was just saying today how much I like that all of the internet cooks are talking about quick pickling so much.
Yeah, it's kind of a buzzword right now.
Yeah, they're like, we'll give these onions a quick pickle before we put them on our sandwich.
Yeah.
And that saves it from just being a regular sandwich because it has quick
pickles on it.
But Quick Pickles would be a good name for a slow pug.
Aw, little buddy.
Yeah. I just thought that was fascinating that and they were going to make 3 other movies, but they went bankrupt.
I wonder why.
Because they got sued by Bram Stoker over Dracula.
Yeah.
And all of the copies of Nosferatu the court said they had to be destroyed, and just a couple survived until the copyright was done.
And then they released it again. Probably like in the 60s.
Yeah. So.
Wow. Fascinating.
So what's really interesting to me is they did this to spread the word about their beliefs. And they must have thought that they failed miserably because they spent all this time and money making the movie. Then they all went bankrupt from it. And then it turns out they set this little time bomb for the future where this creature would pop back up. And now there's action figures of their miniature action figures
so
of egregore.
Well, I kind of had fun this week because I was able to go back to the Goodwill
Yes.
And I did a little shopping. I double masked and kind of made sure I was very careful because, I'm terrified, and didn't spend a lot of time there. But I was able to pick up some wood items.
Yeah.
And then I also was able to do a little woodworking and wood refinishing.
Which is great. Yeah, you got a very cool hand-carved box.
Yeah, well, the weird thing is sometimes I do, when I'm in the Goodwill or thrifting, I'll just like go into a quiet corner and do some searching. And because I didn't want to spend that much time there, I didn't do that. But there was just something so fascinating about this it's like a little jewelry box thing with like hidden compartments. And when I got home and looked it up, it's from an artist who I don't know if he's still alive or not because it's vintage, but the exact same little box that I got, or one that's very similar since they're all hand carved, they're kind of one of a kind, but it was selling for more than $100. And it was less, it wasn't in as good of a shape as mine was.
Well, and we had talked about possibly for that box, the crows finally brought us a treasure.
They did. They brought us a little red nut, from a Bolton nut. And so I put the little red nut in the little box. They also brought us like a bottle cap, I think. I'm not positive.
Yeah.
But I can't I put the bottle cap on top of our trash bin, and I think it accidentally made it into the trash.
Yeah, the nut, I'm 99% sure, is from the crows. The bottle cap, I would say, is about 75% chance just a wandering alcoholic.
Or somebody who's real thirsty.
Yeah, real thirsty. Outdoor drinking. Someone opened a bottle in our driveway.
Yeah. There have been weirder things that have happened in our driveway.
Yeah.
The woman who was pretending to walk her dog at 3 a.m, who went and looked in our mailbox, which is you have to put some effort into that.
Yeah.
Because, you can't. The driveway, our sidewalk to the mailbox is a little bit of a haul. It's not like the mailbox is right there on the sidewalk. And then she was looking underneath the rocks that are in our yard.
The other one that I remember was late at night, someone screaming potatoes, potatoes, potatoes really loud. And then when we woke up, there were potatoes in our driveway.
The only thing that would have made it better is if they yelled potatoes, 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 because that's how we used to pronounce potato when I was
Back
little.
when you were little, yeah.
Potato.
Potato.
We used to eat them raw as snacks too. I think I told you about that already.
You did.
With Lowry seasoned salt.
Yeah, that was your version of a potato chip. Was a raw potato sliced thin with some Lowry's potato sauce.
I wish it was that. It wasn't even that. It was like a whole potato that if we were patient enough, we would have peeled it and then taken the bottle of Lowry's seasoned salt and sprinkle it on and then eat it like an apple.
Yum.
Uh-huh. You can tell, it wasn't one of my favorite snacks because I haven't had that snack since we've known each other.
And I don't think you've had Lowry's seasoning salt since we've known each other.
No, why would you use that product when you have Penzeys available to you? The best spices is Penzeys.
It's true.
So yeah, that was fun for me this week to do that. I did the decontamination when I got home and the Silkwood shower and that whole thing, but it was still fun to go.
Yeah, you got out a little bit into the thrifting world.
Well, yeah, because I finally got that. I think it's over 8.5 yards of that vintage fabric that I ordered, and I need to find something to do an upholstery project on. But the Seattle Goodwill, the big one, the largest Goodwill in the world, doesn't have any furniture outside of like dining room chairs, like more of the wood furniture or hard furniture. They don't have anything out right now, which I know that they have a lot because the last time I did a donation drop, which was a week ago, somebody was donating some really cute upholstered chairs, and I really want those chairs because I could reupholster them, but none to be had.
I don't know this for a fact, but when we go into Costco,
yes,
they have signs on all the furniture saying, "Do not sit here," by CDC guidelines.
Yeah.
So maybe there is some restriction about the furniture that the Goodwill is not capable of carrying through.
Oh yeah, you know that's true. And I actually feel a little bit better that it's not available because then I don't feel like I'm missing out. And when I do a reupholstering project from the Goodwill, I have a sanitizer steamer that I use, and it's all real clean once I'm done with it.
It's all real clean.
Yeah,
it's all real
sanitized.
Clean.
So that was one of my fun things. What else is going on with you?
Well, I was going to tell a story this week.
Okay.
About a human resources person from years and years ago.
Okay, and this is one in your life.
In my life.
Okay.
That when I worked at this place, she and another manager were very new agey.
Okay.
Like super new agey to the point of kookiness.
Well, could you just explain a little bit what you mean by new agey?
I mean, I think it will kind of become obvious as the story goes along, but into all of the stuff that you find
like
in
crystals,
and all of that stuff from like a new age bookstore. But we had a computer where we worked, and it was loaded with sound effects from cartoons. This was back in
when you had a cube for a computer.
Yeah, it was like a giant computer, and the hard drive was full because we had so many sound files on it.
Okay.
But you could hook the sound files to particular actions on the computer.
Okay, I understand.
Most of the sound effects on the computer were Simpsons sound effects. So
like do.
Yeah, and like when you booted it up, it said "Heidi ho, neighbor."
Oh, from Ned Flanders.
Right.
Okay.
But if it was asleep and you woke it back up, it said, and Marvin the Martian said, "Take me to your leader."
Yeah.
So
this sounds so irritating. Just
it was
out the gate. This sounds like whoa.
It was the long time ago.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a community computer, like out in the middle of stuff. It wasn't at anyone's desk.
Okay.
So it would be incredibly irritating to sit there all day with that every time.
I do.
Right. But the two people running the place, they would do things like send aliens to your house at night to visit you. If you said you were having problems, they would say, "You're going to get visited by an alien tonight." And some of the people that worked there would be like, "The aliens came for me last night."
So they kind of is in pretend alien spirits, or they would have people dressed in alien costumes?
No, they would say literal aliens.
This is horrific.
We're doing it, and they never said this.
These are people, the managers?
Yeah, they never said
sending aliens to subordinates' homes. Okay.
So,
oh my God.
And they didn't because they considered me to be a skeptic.
Oh, so you were marginalized.
Kind of marginalized. I mean, I was still there and everything, but I was on the outside of the inner circle.
Thank God.
Because I didn't think that aliens came and visited me, or that they could send aliens. I shouldn't say no, there are no aliens, but that they could send aliens
Yeah,
to
that
me
they had
at will
control.
and
They could order up an alien.
to come and solve my particular problems.
Okay.
So
Jeez.
one night, one of these women was alone in the warehouse where I worked and walked by that computer and touched the mouse and it said, "Take me to your leader." And when we came in the next day, she was cracking up because she heard that Marvin the Martian voice and she got down on her knees in the warehouse and said, "Oh, please take me now," because she thought that the aliens had come to get
Like
her.
a kind of Heaven's Gate kind of thing.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
So she was like all like, "Oh, it tricked me," but she thought it was hilarious. But she
and
thought,
she thought it was cool to retell the story of her, like,
yes.
oh wow.
So she thought her reaction was normal, but but that
I'm
she
so
had
sorry
been
you
tricked.
had to put up with this insanity.
You know, and the other woman, not that woman, but the other woman, if you would go into her office to discuss personnel problems, she would have you draw a rune, like a little mystic rune
From like Dungeons and Dragons, right?
well, from the Nordic tradition of
Yeah,
magic.
sorry.
Yes. So she had a little leather satchel with pretend plastic stone runes in it, and you would reach in and grab one and then read what that rune meant. And that was...
Wait, did you say this was something about human resources?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I drew the rune once, but that was it.
Oh, wait, did you have to go to human resources about this woman who had you draw a rune? Or was she...
She was human resources.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Oh my goodness.
so I would have to...
That's crazy.
So she would she would have us draw a rune, and that would be like the basis of the beginning of the discussion that you would have with her about issues. It's just, because it was like a starting point for it. But I was like, I did it once just because, when somebody's like, "Here, draw one of these," and you don't think twice.
You don't
about
think
it.
that it's some nut.
And then after that, I was like, "No, I'm not doing that
Yeah.
anymore." That's the end of that. And that marginalized me even more
Oh, jeez.
after I wouldn't do that. But what I was thinking about, and this came up for me almost a year ago, but that I did the research, but I was thinking about it again, is at one point, because she considered me such a skeptic, when she would find evidence of paranormal, new agey kind of things,
Yeah.
she would always bring it to me.
To try to talk you into believing?
Yeah. So,
Oh, jeez.
So at one point, she called me into her office to listen to a tape recording of hell. So
Was it just a recording of being in her office?
no,
Because that sounds like H-E double hockey sticks, to quote Ned Flanders to me.
she had an audio cassette. Remember those? This was back in
Yeah.
audio cassette days.
Yeah.
With just the word hell written on it. And she put it into just like a handheld tape recorder and pressed play. And it was just like moans and groans and like a high-pitched noise. And she told me that in Siberia, these guys had they had heard noises and they put a microphone on a long cord down into a hole.
Oh, jeez.
And this was the tape recording of that.
It sounds more like one of those... during Halloween, you would go to the haunted houses and they would try to scare you. But then they also made like records,
Right.
LPs and tapes, cassette tapes of like spooky Halloween sounds. That's what
Yeah.
it sounds like.
And this tape, to me, because I was like listening to Residence music and
Yeah.
other stuff, to me it wasn't even particularly scary.
Or good.
No, it was just like, I mean, I probably could have made a similar tape at the time just with the recording equipment that I had, much less, some fancy recording equipment. It didn't sound like anything, and it certainly wasn't scary, I guess, unless you were in a very specific mind frame. If someone had built it
You
up
were
to
on
you,
psychedelic medication.
if somebody's spent like half an hour telling you the whole story and then said, and now I'm going to play you.
A cassette tape of hell from Siberia.
Then I could
my goodness.
I could see like you might get swept up in the whole thing, because you'd be like, oh my God, all these people think this is hell, and the sounds of the damned. A year ago I looked it up because I was curious about exactly what it was and to see if anyone else had experienced this.
Nobody else has ever experienced that exact specific.
No, probably not that exact circumstance.
Thing where you're talking to somebody in HR and they're playing you cassette tapes of hell. I'm just saying, I'm going to call that.
Yeah. So
that was unique to you.
Yeah. So they did play it on the paranormal radio shows, and what really happened though is it got passed around from church to church as kind of an urban legend tape.
Oh, okay.
So you'd be like, I'm going to loan you this cassette tape so you can play your parishioners hell. And so it was very popular for a long time. And somebody still had the tape. Oh. And they put it up on YouTube. There was also a Weekly World News article attached to it.
Well, you're a superstar because you've been in Weekly World News
twice,
right?
Yeah. Yes.
That was the most exciting thing for me. I loved that.
But there was a Weekly World News article about people putting the microphone down in the hole. Yeah. Because it sounds like a Weekly World News story anyway.
Of course it does, yeah.
And, they got the tape recording of hell. And the guy took it, and he used the technology on YouTube for a copyright violation to figure out it was from the Vincent Price movie Baron Blood. So it was just... It was like background noise from this Vincent Price movie from the 1970s that they had just probably taken off the original film at some point, because that's pretty good quality stuff, and just recorded it on a cassette player and then said this was hell.
I still can't get over the fact that you have your human resources manager playing you a cassette tape of Vincent Price's hell as a serious thing to prove in some kind of new age mysticism or something
that hell exists.
Did you say hell exists? I know it does because I'm in it right at this moment.
No, I was just like, oh, okay.
Jeez.
Because what are you going to do?
Yeah. And, what can you do?
And so she was like, so, that's hell, right? And I was like, no, I really don't think that that's hell. But it stuck with me because it was an odd circumstance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my little tale of amazing.
You have the weirdest things happen to you. You truly do.
But I do love the idea of Marvin the Martian just going off in a computer. And she got down on her knees and started saying, take me, take me.
And she had no shame or embarrassment, and she thought it was a good story.
Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway, that was my little story for the week. David's story time.
Cool.
All right. Well, thanks everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast. And to read our show notes, sign up for our newsletter at bafflingcyclops.com.